Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Jared Klein coming to you live from the NBC29 Digital Desk with this morning's Morning Rush. Let's start things off this morning with this story. Only 11 people checked in at the Salvation Army shelter in Charlottesville over the weekend. Police began reinforcing overnight curfew at Market Street Park Saturday night. That means those who had been staying in tents there needed to find somewhere else to go. The Salvation Army accepts anyone who passes a drug and alcohol screening with Pacham, and once Pacham is full, folks are sent over to the Salvation Army shelter. Union talks are back on in Albemarle County Public Schools. The Albemarle Education Association walked away from negotiations last month. This after the school board refused to bend on items the AEA deemed non-negotiable. The district says details of any progress made since then are private, but that it's eager to resume talks. The AEA says the school board is now listening to the community. There are 2 more meetings between the 2 sides set for next month. Both groups say the sooner they can pass a resolution, the better. The shelves in one Charlottesville grocery store are emptying out, but it says it's not going anywhere. Reed Super Safe Supermarket on Preston Avenue says the increase of expenses on everything has taken a toll. The store is asking customers to continue supporting it during this tough time. And despite empty shelves, Reed says it will not be closing anytime soon. And Election Day is 2 weeks away now. Charlottesville has reported a drop in early voters, but Albemarle County is seeing the opposite. If you are voting absentee, remember you must request a ballot by this Friday. You can find more on when and where to vote over on NBC29.com. Very hard to believe we're coming up on Election Day now.
I know. It's hard to believe. And of course, we are into fall, and with fall comes those allergies. I've been sniffling, I know, at least a week ago. So it was interesting. I was reading this article about allergies, and you think of fall and you think it wouldn't be that bad, but it's actually really bad a lot of times, fall, for allergy sufferers. So because of the mold. And so what happens is, in July, the traditional pollen out there is building, and then it collides with the mold from autumn, and then you've got this perfect storm of pollen and mold converging, and that's why it's so bad for allergy sufferers. So, during this time, they recommend really keeping your windows closed. You can wear a mask outdoor if you're doing gardening, especially with days that are higher pollen counts. Stay indoors, keep the windows closed. They also recommend using saline sprays to rinse the sinuses, and for some patients that have really severe symptoms, they can get injections or take medication. So the ragweed, awful for me. The mold, awful.
And this is also cough and cold season starting up around this time. So how do you know?
Right.
Is it allergies? Is it cough and cold? Is it COVID? Get tested for that if you think you might have it.
Tis the season.
Tis the season. To feel awful, but it's beautiful outside.
It is beautiful outside.
You can enjoy the sights in your misery.
All right, so this is really interesting. So researchers for the longest time thought that people arrived in the Americas around 21,000 years ago. Well, these ancient footprints, which we're looking at, they have kind of upended the timeline. So these were found in White Sands National Park in New Mexico. These footprints recently, and after extensive testing, this new study has found that these date back more to about 29,000 years ago, and it even suggests that people came to the Americas by the ocean. So it's just kind of interesting, we're uncovering, as we uncover more, we're learning more about our history and even kind of changing what we thought really, happened.
There's just so much of history we don't know about. And we probably never will know because people didn't really keep records back then.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's very interesting that they're able to see these footprints. These footprints lasted this long, number one. But number two, they can see them and say, okay, they're about 29,000 years ago.
So evidently what they did was they were able to take pollen, interestingly enough, that was on, I guess, their feet, and take the pollen and some crystals and look at that to understand or just figure out how long and how old they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then I just wanted to end on this. Look at this house for Halloween. I don't know where it is. I tried finding where this was. Oh, some person said this is my neighborhood in Arizona. Can you imagine?
That is so cool.
Can you? I feel bad for the neighbors next door who probably just have like a pumpkin.
Yeah, I know.
You know, but isn't it? I think this is one of the most fantastic displays I've seen.
I wonder how long it takes them to set that all up.
I bet a long time.
Yeah.
You know, maybe a month at least every day.
Yeah.
I mean, and look at all the pumpkins.
Yeah.
And
Like
the
where
lights.
did these all come from? They must be doing this for a couple years now.
Yeah,
because-
collecting.
Yeah, collecting stuff, and it probably just grew year after year after year. But there's even a projector there.
Yeah, I mean it's quite something. It looks almost like a movie set.
Yeah. That is
Yeah.
so cool. I wish we were closer to Arizona to see that.
I know,
but
in person.
I'd definitely drive out to see that.
Yeah, and look at the window.
Yeah.
Lastly, like it's just amazing.
That is so
anyway,
cool.
pretty neat.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. We got a high of 72 today, and then the warm weather is setting back in with highs in the 80s through Saturday and Sunday. And then a cool down is on the way for the start of November. So this is our last shot, it looks like, at warm weather out there. So get outside and enjoy it. I hope you guys have a great Tuesday out there. We'll see you again on NBC 29 News at noon. We're always live, of course, on NBC29.com.